And if you look over, it's starting to turn deeper. Really tall, elegant people coming out of that fancy, right?
Coming out of my homeland, the land of Kenya.
Hmm? Oh.
Am I the thing now?
What amazing stuff.
You make me think.
Now
I'm muted.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Fellowship. I also want to take the time to thank every single person that's put any effort or work into this Devo.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
How is everyone?
Hello.
Like a minute, so I can see. I see a few people are joining. So once I've seen everyone's kind of joined, then I'll start.
Hey, Shirley.
Kim and
Hey, Jay. Congrats, guys.
Thanks.
So this is our pre-engagement or post-engagement party.
Yes,
Something like that. Okay, I assume people will join.
Oh, there you are, Kim.
Hey.
Okay, there's still people joining. Admit. Okay, I'm going to start, but I'm going to mute everyone. I'm going to kind of just lead us into what this time is going to be about. And then obviously I want everyone to get the opportunity to share. So if you want to speak, just put your hand up. If you're on your phone, there's like 3 dots. You can click that if you've used Zoom before, and it will say, put my hand up or whatever. And then we can kind of go from there, because it will be chaotic with 18 odd people if we have everyone trying to speak at once, unless everyone's just going to mute themselves, and then when you want to speak, unmute. Going. Okay, yeah. So to start, I thought the easiest thing to do would be kind of for everyone to go around, everyone to give their name, where they're from, and then maybe what they're currently doing. Obviously, career-wise, if you're wanting to start something or wherever you're currently at. So I can start if that's easier. And then as we go, please feel free. Everyone just kind of say where you're at currently. So my name's Jade. I'm based in KZN, Durban, and I currently work for a company called KWD, which is obviously an alcohol distributor. So I can go into lengths about what that's like and what that's like as a disciple, but that's what I do. Someone else want to go? Please feel free.
Hi, it's Sujo from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania.
Glitching on my side.
Yeah, I'm going to my room.
Okay, anyone else? Where you from? What your name is? What you're currently doing?
How's it, Jado?
Hello, Nilo.
How you doing, bud? Good.
Good yourself. You start us off.
Hey, oh, you want me to share? Okay, I can share. Well, I've only been working for about 3 months, and yes, I got a random job through a disciple, and yeah, sort of been mentored by an entrepreneur and really good entrepreneur in SA, and yeah, learning tons. So what I'm busy with at the moment is properties. So I manage a property development company. And yeah, so I think something I've really been praying for is, yeah, to have a godly vision for my career and not a selfish vision. So I see sort of the likes of Frank Kim and different guys like that who are really inspiring, and they use their companies as a platform to make disciples. And yeah, so I'm really trying to develop that sort of a vision.
Awesome.
So that's a bit of me.
Awesome, Nilo. Okay, so someone messaged. Sorry, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, boy.
Sorry.
Can you-
Okay. It's glitching a bit on my side. It's difficult to nominate you guys to say who goes next because it doesn't have all of your names. So Kim, do you want to try go, and I'll try and nominate the names I see. So just name where you're from, what you're currently doing.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. It's really awesome to get to see everybody and to meet up. Currently, I work for a company called Footgear, a footwear outlet. And we recently took over in November. We took over Edgar's Active. So we are over 160 stores, and I currently work in HR. And hoping not to be in HR forever and be an entrepreneur one day. Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Sean, you there? Can you hear me? Do you mind going?
Abundance.
Abundance.
Hi, everyone.
Wonder, what are you watching? Creatives.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Yeah, can everyone mute? Try to mute you all. It's difficult for me to on my side. This group happens to be one of the most popular ones for some reason. So it's going to be a bit difficult if I try let everyone speak or try to go one by one. So I'm going to kind of speak, kind of lead the time. I hope, first of all of you can hear me. But obviously the intentions of this group, the intentions of what we're doing is essentially that we're united in these things. I think we can neglect to speak about finances or what we're passionate about, what we want to pursue, what type of human we want to be, what career we want to do as a family. And I think across Africa, so I think the platform just to be able to, I think just to kind of speak about what we dream of, what we passionate about, what we're currently doing, what we want to start, and kind of just guide with just where we at and what we want to attain. So I think by definition, an entrepreneur is someone who undertakes the risk of starting a new business venture. And obviously the purpose of the business is to generate a profit and increase sales. If you're not doing that, unfortunately, it's most likely a hobby until you start actually turning a profit. So I wouldn't call myself someone who's an entrepreneur. I wouldn't call myself someone who's incredibly successful or great at business, but it's something I'm particularly passionate about. I love business. I love watching great and successful people. I love just trying to understand the business world, trying to understand different dynamics about companies and how they work and operate. However, I think I kind of fight the battle of, man, how do we be passionate about achieving things in my career with most importantly glorifying God and seeking his kingdom before that, which can be a challenging thing for myself. I'm sure you guys would agree. It's very difficult to pursue kind of wealth to an extent or a career to an extent, but keeping God at number one before anything else. And there's a couple of scriptures that kind of came to my mind when kind of thinking through this. But I love kind of Proverbs 10 verse 4, and it says, lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. I think we underestimate just the importance of hard work, the importance of putting your head down and not stopping. And I think a lot of great and successful people have done that. I think in the Bible, in the world we see today, I think number one, we all have to be hardworking at whatever we're passionate about, whatever we're pursuing. One of the second kind of important scriptures is Proverbs 23:4, and it says, don't wear yourself out trying to get rich. Sorry, people are joining. Be wise enough to know when to quit. And I think kind of what I understood that to say is don't pursue being rich. Don't pursue money. Don't pursue wealth. As much as we all have bills today to pay, we all have dreams. We all have aspirations. I'm an extreme car lover. And so it can be easy to think, man, well, when do I get to the Porsche? When do I get to the Ferrari and those kind of things? But it's about, man, I want to do well, but how does that glorify God? Is that about Jade's fame? Is that about our fame? Is that about our success? Or is it, man, that needs to point to our incredible and amazing God? And I think I'm extremely passionate about the fact that we serve a perfect, incredible God. And I want people to see that. I don't want to be average in whatever I do. I don't think there's one thing I'm particularly good at or passionate about, but I want to work hard, and I want people to see that to turn to God. And again, I think there's different ways we can do that. There's different ways in our careers, in our passions, in what we start that can turn to God. So I think I've spoken way too much. So I think one by one, if any of you want to speak, I think this is a platform where speak about what you're dreaming about. Maybe it's a particular thing you're praying about, and you maybe have started or wanting to start. Just so as a family, we can be aware of, man, these are what our family are working towards, and we can be praying for. And I think, again, the platforms for us to take each other's numbers, to speak to each other, have calls. If there's things we struggle with or we're trying to understand or be better at, I think we're family. We're all trying to figure out our careers. I'm sure we're all at different stages. We're all trying to figure out finances and how to make better financial decisions. And so I think speaking to each other. So I don't know, I tried to explain earlier, but if you're on a phone, I'm not sure on a laptop, unfortunately, but on the bottom right, there's 3 little dots. If you click those 3 little dots and then say, your hand up or raise hand or whatever, then I can nominate you and you can speak, or I can nominate. And now.
Sorry, I didn't quite hear all of that because it was a bit laggy.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I can't really, on my side, I apologize for my connection. It seems to be horrific. But anyone that wants to speak, unmute yourself, give us your name, and then kind of, essentially where you at in your career, what you're dreaming of, and what we can be praying for.
Can I share?
Please, Neil, that would be wonderful.
Yes, I'm very new to corporate and business. I got a job on the 8th of Jan this year, and I was initially trying to start a cycling apparel sort of company and importing a cycling kit into the country. So I was asking a bunch of advice and the different brothers in the church, and one of them said, I know a really good marketer, and he sent me to this guy for advice. And yeah, this guy turned the advice from, the meeting for advice into an interview, and he said, I want to hire you. And he said to me, I'll learn more from him in 6 months than I'd learn at a business school in around 4 years. So, and his words are definitely ringing true. So it's definitely been a roller coaster journey since January. But I'm learning so much and wrestling with a lot of things. And yeah, I guess just from the advice that I've asked different people about how to approach, like, how does my work life fit in with my Christian life? And that's, it's definitely a wrestle. I think I can often have the view of, if I'm not on campus or whatever, sharing my faith and studying the Bible with tons of people, I'm not glorifying God as much as in a career. But that's also not true. We can glorify God in a big way through our careers. So on one end, I've been faced, trying to wrestle with what is my definition of success and how much, so wrestling with how much is that, what determines my success? Is it a destination? Is it a position? Is it money? Or is it sort of who I am and my character in the workplace, how I deal with stress, how I interact with my boss, how I stand up for lying and unethical practices in the workplace. So, and then on the other end, realizing that if I want to have any hope of influencing my staff and my colleagues, I need to pull my weight and be a good employee. Like if if I'm a terrible employee and I invite someone to church, and that my words aren't going to have much weight in sort of the circles that I work with. So I lost my train of thought. Yes, so sort of standing up, learning to figure out how to stand up for what's wrong when kingdom values clash with worldly business values. I've already, in 3 months, already had like 2 or 3 situations where I've been asked to lie, and I haven't. And I've sort of stood up and just said, look, this isn't how I roll. And since the first time that I stood up for lying to my boss, he's entrusted me with the whole company, the property company, and I've been asked to project manage sort of 200 cell phone stores. And so it's just like God definitely blesses integrity, and is to stand up for the truth is such a rare thing in corporate and business circles. So yeah, I think the point I'm trying to make is that we can be incredible lights in our careers. We can really showcase the gospel in who we are, and how we work and define success. So yeah, and then I think also a very big wrestle is just sort of the love of money. I guess I've been thrust into an environment where my boss will speak about $1 million that 5 million, yeah, 5 million what, and it's like, whoa. It's very easy to get allured into that, selfish ambition and love of money. So it's also quite a wrestle, and I've had to be transparent and vulnerable with that temptation to sort of put money above God. So yeah, that's sort of my journey the past 3 months. It's very exciting, and I'm very humbled and learning a lot. I think one thing I wanted to share was a great resource. You should find it on the Northwest Joburg Church of Christ website, a Christian professionals workshop that happened 2015 by a guy named Frank Kim. He's got an incredible story. He was in the ministry for 20-something years, planted churches, and then he decided with a brother to open up a cycling apparel company, and has over 100 staff, and there's been multiple people that have become disciples through his company. And he just has high standards for standing up for what's wrong, and having a lot of integrity. So that's quite a great inspiration for everyone here. So let me actually see if I can share that link, but yeah, that's me for now.
Awesome. Thanks, Neela. Appreciate your sharing.
I can share.
Go ahead.
So I'm Shaylee. I am actually not into business at all, and I can't say I have much knowledge in the slightest. I'm more here to support Jade. But I think as Neil was talking, I was thinking a lot about the story of Joseph, and just how success and working hard actually really stands out. And I think that would be an awesome thing to also study out, and just how Joseph really succeeded in all that he did. And so he stood out to Potiphar, and he stood out to Pharaoh. And so I think we can be such an example when we do work hard and we put our hearts into it, and we can really be influencers. But I was also just thinking about what Neil said about working with integrity and working with righteousness. And I love that rewarded you, Neil. But I was also just thinking of Joseph's story, that he actually lost his job because of his righteousness. So I was thinking, with this heart of wanting to be successful and wanting to go into business, we need to have our convictions solid and our perseverance solid, because sometimes our integrity and our righteousness, people won't actually appreciate it. But we need to be able to still persevere in that. But yeah, I think a perfect person to study out would be Joseph. That's my 2 cents, but I'm not actually in business. I work in a hospital. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, can I go?
Go ahead, please.
Okay, thanks. My name is Ramsey. I am in Johannesburg. I work for Nedbank. I've been in banking for the past 16 years.
Sure.
I work for the bank, but I don't call myself a banker. And I think part of it is that I believe in people development. So what I have done in the past, say about 12 years of my 16 years was really about developing people, saying getting somebody from one stage or from an entry level, if we were to say in the banking space, to sort of build their confidence, build their experience, have somebody that will walk with them. Because, you know, you can either be made or broken and you're on your entry level because of who walks with you as you go into the corporate space, because somebody might not have the patience to show you what needs to be done, or somebody will leave you there to drown. So that's what I do. I have subsequently opened my company in 2017, which I deal with, I still work for the bank, which I deal with I'm a coach. I do events management planning. I do motivational speaking, and I do MC. I know these days MC is a career, but I think Jade, as you explained in the beginning, what an entrepreneur is, I don't think I fall into that space of an entrepreneur, because I don't think I do it for making money, but it's something that I think is rewarding and is fulfilling to me. And
Sure.
I think if I were to count how successful I am on that, it won't be on a financial value, but it will be on the people. So there's a one saying that says, I am not successful until my successors succeed. So for me, I sit in a space where if I were to move Jade from one point of his life and one day he becomes my boss, that becomes my success. But I think
Sure.
on a personal side of my business is to say, I'll believe in doing what I can do to give you the belief on everything that you do. There is people who are in business, but they have fear. And I think I'm here to tell you that I think no one was born doing what they do today. They had to learn. Somebody had to start from somewhere. Yes, I believe in experience, but there's some point where somebody, like what Neil was saying, that he went for an advice and he was given a job. Somebody believed in him. So that's what I do. Just
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Until I believe has a hand up. You want to go? I don't know how to unmute you, unfortunately.
Hi,
There you go.
can you hear me? Hello.
Bit like a robot.
Hi,
Go
can you
ahead.
hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks. My name is Chantal, and I'm from the East Region in Johannesburg. I work for a company called Continental Manufacturer. We manufacture and quality assurance control and I I'm so passionate about it. No, I have knowledge ever about starting a business, coffee business. So yeah, I just plan to win souls in that. And what I love about what you said, Jade, is that we can want to do well in life, but how is that glorifying God? So I just believe that by opening a coffee shop, that will actually help me reach out to people, and just, I'm done.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else want to share? Unmute yourselves or hand up, whatever's easier for you.
Hi guys.
Hi. Okay.
My name is Karen. Karen Gurupira. I'm originally from Zimbabwe, but I study in Cape Town. In my final year, BCom Investment Management, and also Entrepreneurship and Innovation Management. So entrepreneurship and business is something that's dear to my heart. I think my goal in life is to actually become a serial entrepreneur. And I mean, I was fortunate enough to act on my plans this year by registering one of my first ideas. But I do think with coming up with ideas and dreams of becoming an entrepreneur, I sometimes find myself getting clouded by the goals I have for myself. And I know another thing that's dear to me is to empower people and to be able to use what I learned from different books I read or in my journey in becoming an entrepreneur with other people. And I think also just using that platform to reach out to people like the person before me shared. But I think my fear is like having that as like the last thing I do in my business, but rather I want to have it as like a top priority, as in whatever I do, I use my resources, I use my what I learn, my lessons to also reach out to other people. So yeah, that would be like my prayer request, to have God also at the top of me and my finances in my business and what He grants me with. And to remember that in everything, my goal is to actually glorify God at the end of the day. And if I find myself getting trapped by just wanting to have financial freedom, I'm losing the whole point of why I'm doing what I'm doing. So yeah, that's thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Anyone else feel they want to share?
Hi, I can share.
Go ahead.
Okay, so my name is Tendo. At church, they know me as Tendo. In my business, people know me as Tepsi. So I get confused when I introduce myself. I have been in business since 2015, and I have a company that does online marketing, sort of copywriting, and business coaching, and there's one life coaching. And with that, I also do like speaking, emceeing, all those things that people tend to do. And co-authored some books. And on this journey, when I first started out, I believed in God, but I wasn't like on this path or this trajectory that I'm on now. So as I've reevaluated my life and given myself back more to God, I have been sort of on a search to include God more in my business with a very secular audience that and following on social media and people who don't necessarily know me for sharing my heart. So that's been sort of my challenge. And that's something that I think I'm working on along the way. I have seen a lot of success in my business, and most of my clients are in the US, and I'm in Johannesburg. So I tend to travel back and forth most of the time. And I'm now in a season of my life where it's full of a lot of changes, and I'm looking to reinvigorate my business with those changes. So I'm sort of seasoned, but I think we're always students, and you're always learning, and you're always taking things even from people who are brand new around you and learning from them and using them to grow. So
Awesome.
yeah, I'm here for if anybody has questions, how to grow your business, how to use social media, how to figure out your target market or things like that. If you want to brainstorm, I am here, and I've done a lot of work with that. So I'm happy to meet all of you, and excited to hear about your dreams and your goals. And just know that a lot of people look like overnight successes, or that, you know, you'll see them and you'll hear them talking about themselves as an entrepreneur, and you'll think, oh, I wish that was me. I wish I had followed through with my goals. I wish I had, I could be where they are right now. And the reality is you're where you are for a reason, and God places you, you know, on parts of your journey at a specific time for a reason. And those people who look like they have it all figured out, I've met a lot of them. I've worked with a lot of really successful people that you've watched their YouTubes or listened to their podcasts, and at the end of the day, they are figuring it out every single day as they go along. So give yourself some credit and just keep showing up for yourself, and I think that we can all get there together.
Amen. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. For you, man, and everyone else, there is a chat section. So maybe just put your details, whatever you prefer. If it's your WhatsApp number, your number, email, just so if anyone does want to contact, I'll do the same. Then we can do so after this.
Just a heads up, I sent those links on there, an amazing resource to look at those Christian professional lessons. So, amen.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Nila. I think Mo has her hand up, so go ahead.
Hi guys, my name is Mobile. Hi. I'm currently working as a construction project manager. I work for the government of South Africa. Yeah, I recently started a business in interior styling and personal styling. Basically, image consultancy. So I think with all of that, it's started. I think it has all to do with confidence, or having confidence in God, or having the confidence that actually all that we do is from God. Like every good gift, from God, and knowing that all that we achieve is that God has done for us. Because I think for me, like before starting, or before just being confident in what I do and actually like registering my business, I felt like, you know, there's certain things that have Jesus pasted on them, and then, you know, creativity or fashion or things like your interior design, or even just my career, because, you know, I don't scream Jesus when I go inside or when I think of design. Then it's not, you know, I have to work in the ministry, or I have to be doing something so that you know, can be known that, or so that I have the confidence that it's from God. But, you know, I think after reading a book, Screwtape Letters, so it has a perspective from Satan, or what he thinks of us, or, you know, when he watches us. And so there was a part that was saying, you know, we leave the human beings to assume that there are certain things that are coming from Satan, but basically Satan has created nothing. And so that gave me oh, okay, so dancing, so every other thing that I have actually is from God. And even just reading scriptures like how your Isaiah 26, like, it says, "Oh Lord, you have established peace for us, and all that we have accomplished, you have done for us." So even just in the getting money, in the getting profit in my business, or when I get a new client and I don't even know where they come from, because I started in Jan, but I've worked in, you know, I've styled 3 offices already. Just now, like I look at that, I'm just like, wow, God, like why, you know, how is this even working out? You know, why didn't I start earlier? I think it all had to do with just me being confident in the fact that actually everything I do, whether it's money coming to me, coming into my company, and I'm making profits, but it's from God, you know. I can do and I can advertise stuff and I can put stuff on social media and all of that, but it's like all of that is directed by God. Like it's all a gift from God, and that's what I want to share.
Amen. Thank you, Mo. Anyone else that would like to share, please go ahead.
Henry wants to.
Hi.
Go
Hello.
ahead.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for those who've shared. My name is Florence Tushime. I'm from Rwanda, Kigali. I'm currently working as an accountant for an NGO, which is in the health sector. I finished in finance, so like I'm working as an accountant, but like deep down, I really like have a vision of working with people on personal finance. I feel like it's something that really is on my heart to be able to just work with people individually and
Still there?
like hello. Hello?
I think it cut a bit. You're back now.
We can hear you. I could hear
Oh,
you.
no, we can hear her, Jade.
Sorry, it's my bad. It's my bad. Must be me. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so I was saying that it's really like my vision to be able to work with people on a personal level with finances, working through them. Like let's say they want to make some different personal decisions financially, like financial advisory. I'm sure you can get what I mean. So like I've been just having different conflicting thoughts on how to go about it. Like I really love my job that I have, but I want to start something on the side regarding that, which is like my vision, so that I can see it grow. So like I've had thoughts where I started an Instagram page about it. I've started a WhatsApp group. I've invited like few of my friends, and like every once and then I post some things about finances, like personal finances, but it's just been there. I'm feeling it's not really like growing like the way I want it to, or even not being sure of which next step I would take. So like it was so exciting to hear like different people here. I'm sure I can contact them later, like especially Lamzi, Tepsi, like so far of those that I would love to learn more about. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Florence. For you as well, maybe put it, you do have pages more as well. I know you mentioned it. If you do have Instagram pages or links to things you're starting, you're growing, please drop them in the comments as well, just so that we can be supporting one another, see what everyone's doing, and just be kind of, I guess, have each other's backs. Does anyone else kind of want to share?
Sorry.
Yes.
Yes. I was just thinking, thank you, Jared, for sharing like how we can, although we want to chase success and everything, it's also like how do we glorify God in that section. And it made me think as well in December, where we were like forced to work so much overtime. And at times I was like drained. I couldn't spend time with disciples. I couldn't spend time with family. And I just felt so morbid. And then there was a Sunday as well where the rest of my colleagues were working. And I was like, guys, I cannot. Because I felt like I will not put God behind and put work first. Because at the end of the day, employers are not loyal. They will let you go, whatever comes. And then you sit with you're sitting with like faithless and with nothing to it. So there's always going to be God to be put in, like to be put forward in all situations. So yeah, just thank you for that as well to just realize.
Awesome. There was some that put their hand up, Spark 3 Pro. That's all I see.
Hi.
Don't know what. Yes, you're the one. Sorry, I don't have a name for you on my phone.
Oh, sorry. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Fina Nandwa from Nairobi, Kenya.
Awesome.
Yeah, so so my name, I don't know if you got my name clearly.
Yes, I did. Can hear you
Yeah, so
loud and clear.
okay, so okay, right. So currently I'm working in a construction company, and I'm the human resource assistant. So I also love this idea of entrepreneurship, because I remember when I was still a student, I was doing some business, but at some point it didn't blossom the way I really wanted. So I just stopped, and I looked for a job for a while. I was just feeling like I'm looking for a job. God, could you just hear that I've been looking for a job? And I really thank God that after praying and fasting, God enabled me to get a job, and even just in my field. And for me, I think one of the things I would also really love to do, and also just to grow in, also in career, is as a human resource assistant, because I've been feeling like what I learned in school is not the same with what I'm doing in the organization. So sometimes it's totally difficult. So I'm like, oh, what I learned in school, is this what I learned in school, and what I'm doing totally. So sometimes I get confused, and I'm like, I'm in this office, and what am I doing? But I've been just telling myself to be patient with myself, and to learn slowly, and to get to know some of the things about human resource. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
Anyone else that would like to speak? I think we've got to maybe do one more. Sorry, I have no clue who's speaking, but go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm so happy and excited just to hear from different people, and to how you guys have shared your knowledge. And it's really, for me, it's really encouraging. So, okay, my name is Dines, and I'm from Tanzania, and I'm a teacher. I'm a learning support teacher, and that's my full-time job. But also I run some business. I do sell clothes and accessories. Also, I'm into baking and food catering. So yeah, and I really enjoy, and I find more joy in especially in cooking. Like even right now, as we are all in this situation, I'm working from home, but like I get excited when I finish my job. I'm like, what recipe can I try today? What do I want to cook? And now I see clear that that's where I want to go. That's where I want to, in future, if I stop working, teaching, I'm going to do full-time entrepreneurship. And that's where I want to be. And I find more joy doing things that God has put in my heart. And I think for now, like currently, the one main struggle for most of small business is delivering, like how you deliver your product to your customer. It's way expensive compared to the price. And when it comes, and sometimes you can charge more because yeah, it's just difficult. I think for me, the situation I'm right in is delivery, like transportation of my stuff on my customer order. It's just more expensive. It's more difficult, and it makes sometimes I'm like, do I really need to do this, or do I need to stop? Everything is fine, but the transportation part, it's very difficult for me. So I'm just, if there's anyone who can share some ideas and help out. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Maybe put your details in the comments as well. And then anyone that kind of does have ideas, expertise, maybe you guys can link up. Let's do maybe one more. Does anyone else want to share? And then I'll kind of wrap up and close in prayer. Anyone else?
I just wanted
Sure,
to
Jade.
ask, are we
Go
not
ahead,
going to
G.
lose all the, I was saying, are we not going to lose all the comments the moment we're out of the group?
Well, that's why you need to save it or screenshot it so you can get the number, hopefully
Yeah,
before.
I just wanted everyone to know that.
Okay.
Something organizer, you can there's like something that you can press to save the chat. Then all the numbers can be saved.
I have to do that, or can anyone do that?
Only you can do it, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. Having a look,
I just saw on mine. I can also save the chat.
Oh really?
Oh, you can.
Yeah, I went to the
Okay,
chat and I
perfect.
just saved it.
Yeah, it works. I also saved it on my side.
Maybe you can't do it.
I guess all of us
Everyone.
can. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now that everyone's said, does anyone else want to kind of go one more, or can I close us off?
Jade, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead. Duh.
All right. Yo, this is really awesome. You know, I was a bit, group hopping a little bit just to see, you know, get a bit of this and a bit of that. So really encouraged to get to hear from all the brothers and sisters around the world, and all the different things that people are doing. And it's super encouraging to see and learn from all you guys. I just think for me, I just had two quick points I just wanted to touch on. I think the first thing for me, just sort of starting my career. So I'm in law, and the first thing that I think the first biggest lesson that I learned was, you know, where my identity lies. I think so. The first job that I got as a candidate attorney was really fun. You know, lots of learning, lots of exciting stuff. You know, and as you would know, you know, what you study in school is hardly ever really needed when you actually go into, you know, sort of the business world. But I think for me, one of the first lessons I learned was to really have my identity in Christ, because what happened was, you know, it started off well, and then things got a bit tricky. You know, in terms of the things that the boss was asking me to do, you know, to bribe a few people at court so we could win certain cases and all that kind of stuff. And obviously that clashed a lot with, you know, my convictions. And each time I said no, he would always say to me, well, if you're not going to do it the way I want you to do it, go get it done with your God. You know, so many different situations when I would go to court and I'd literally just sit there and just be like, okay, what on earth am I going to do? But I think in the end, what, you know, long story short, what happened is I decided I was going to leave that job because it really wasn't helping me to glorify God at all. And, you know, it actually turned out to be a great decision. But it was that little moment where I left the job and as I was searching for a new one, that I realized, you know, that my identity had actually started off in the wrong place. Because, you know, when people started to ask me to say, hey, dude, so what do you do? I found it so difficult to say I'm unemployed, you know, and I asked myself, why is it so difficult for me to tell people that I'm unemployed? And I realized that a lot of who I am was the fact that I could say I'm in law or I'm a candidate attorney, or, you know, it just sounded fancy. And I realized that, man, that is really what I'm after in this world. You know, I want to be known to be this. And that was a very humbling experience for me to say, man, you know, this, whatever it is that you identify yourself as, is finite. You know, it can literally be there today and gone tomorrow in different circumstances. And I think for me, that was a great lesson to learn, that with every single step that I need to take, I need to make sure that my identity is in Christ. And obviously that means many different things for different people. But I think it's an important part for us as we sort of, you know, enter into, you know, the business world, because there's a lot of things that go on, as everybody knows. But I think it's, you know, when you know your identity, you know your brand, and you know what you stand for. And so I think that's a very important part, especially for us as disciples, because not many people, you know, are interested in, do you worship God or not in the business world, to be honest. But I think being able to make a stand for God, even in the business world, is such a needed space to fill, because not many people do. But I think I've got so many exciting things in my mind. I mean, like right now, I'm not an entrepreneur at all. I work a 9 to 5, but I have ideas that I'd love to execute. And I think one of the biggest things that has been my challenge is stepping out in faith to say, you know what, I'm just going to start something. I'm just going to do it. And because one of my biggest fears is failure, and I think for many people it is. That you're afraid to start something because you're afraid to fail. But hearing you guys' stories and some of the spaces that you guys are in is so encouraging, because it sort of opens up the door to being able to reach out to people and ask a few questions and get some advice on what do you think would be a best step to take. And one of the ideas that I really would love to see grow is us as disciples learning how to grow in partnership together, to glorify God with our resources. I'm currently my own little thing that I'm doing on the side is property. So I just have one property that I own, that I sort of rent out, and I'm trying to build, a capital base to start buying more property. And the property space in and of itself right now is a huge buyer's market. But you see lots of people that actually group together, and buy a sectional title or something. And I have so many dreams to see us as disciples bringing together whatever resources we have, to multiply them for God's glory, to multiply them for God's use. Because I'm just looking at everybody here and listening to everybody. I'm like, God is incredible in the way He's brought such different characters, different minds, different strengths, in us in His kingdom. And I'd love to see us, especially as singles, take up the mantle to say, hey, how can we partner together to bring something that can give glory to God? And that's just one of my, prayers and dreams to see that happen one day. And, I know that, it's going to take some action from me, myself. So this has been very exciting to see and get to learn about so many people in different spaces that, God is like, hey, the platform's there. It's definitely very possible. So thank you all for sharing. Thank you all for the great work that you guys are doing, and I just hope that we can all continue to glorify God in our different spaces.
Awesome. Thank you, and thank you for sharing. From kind of in closing, I think from my side, it's super encouraging. I think just to be reminded, it's so simple, but the fact that we all fight in this fight. I think that the corporate game, the business world, it's messy and it can get chaotic. And I think just the fact that we're all fighting for to push ultimately our kind of identity, as Nda said, in Christ first, that's what we do walking into the door with whatever we're starting. And I think the fact that we're a family doing that is super encouraging. It kind of reminds me to fight for that, reminds me of, man, where am I making mistakes in that? And then I think to dream big, that we can, as a group, I think, push each other and I think spur one another on and look after one another and I think see great things. As Nda said, I think we have so many incredible skills and talents, I think, that we gain just being a disciple. You talk, I think Neil said, the integrity, the honesty, all those types of things you don't see it. It's not often that you see it in the corporate game and world. And so I think just to just, I think, spur one another on, encourage one another. And I think hopefully that this continues, that this isn't a once-off kind of meeting or time together. But sorry, I've spoken a lot. I hope close us off and connect a bit more over WhatsApp or whatever it is. Father, I just come before you. I think just super grateful for your name, super grateful for just the privilege of knowing you, the privilege of being able to do life with you in every aspect of life. I love that you've created us individually and different, and that we have different aspirations, talents, skills, and abilities, Father. And ultimately, I pray for this group. I pray for all the disciples across the world that we are doing our best to glorify you with what you've given us, God. But that we do it to our best, that whether it's cooking, whether it's logistics, whether it's sales, whatever it is, God, that we are and become the best at it. And that points to you, that people look at us and think, man, that man or woman is different. and really that we can draw people to you. I do pray for our success and that you do bring it for all of us individually, God, but I think more importantly that we're able to handle it, that we are not consumed with wealth, with riches, and that we are then led astray, but we hold on to you and we are just built in our faith because of what you provide. I pray for the rest of the weekend, and just the singles and all their different groups, that it was just productive and effective, and that we are all just left encouraged. It's in your mighty, incredible, powerful name I pray, Father. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
I hope you all
Thank you.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much.
Good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, bro.
If
No problem. Cheers, everyone.
anybody who
Yes.
can, please send me the chat transcript on my phone. I'm battling to save all the numbers.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Okay, who's that?
Neil.
That's Neil.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Awesome.
Goodbye.
Cheers, everyone.